Self-Love is the New Sexy, the podcast devoted to helping you overcome life's most painful and stubborn challenges so you can feel great, have more energy, and live stress-free every day. To reach your full potential, simply work with the powerful spiritual principles that are readily accessible to everyone. It's easier than you think, and on today's show, W. Mark Watts is going to show you how starting with self-love is the key to joyously and harmoniously making that happen.
Hey everybody, it's W. Mark Watts. Hello, welcome, and thank you to everyone for hanging out with me for another episode of Self-Love is the New Sexy. And in today's episode, I want to address a current situation that's, it's a global issue right now. And I'm not going to use specific words, and I'm not going to stay too long, but I see a lot of other people who do things like I do and leaders around in the communities talking about this subject. And of course, it's on the news and everywhere else you want to look, all over online properties. So I just want to speak on it just for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to get out of here on this episode. But I feel that it's definitely important that people understand what I'm thinking, so that we can, hopefully look at the way we're thinking about this whole situation so that we can move forward stronger, better, and wiser. So what am I talking about? I am talking about the global fear that we have going on regarding the latest virus outbreak that occurred. I think it started in China in late 2019, and it's taking the world by storm, if you will. It's the hottest topic, the hottest subject matter, and rightly so. People are dying. Many people are being infected. Not quite sure how many people are actually infected now, and who's spreading what, and where they're located, and so it's really attacking the global marketplace, if you will. The economy, the global economy, is starting to see shock waves on all different fronts. Businesses are shutting down. Schools are closing, hospitals and labs are overworked because they've got, numerous people sick and needing testing. So the ripple effect is pretty huge right now. So I did a little bit of research today because, again, if you know me, I don't spend a lot of time online looking at the media and the reports and the stories, and I definitely don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news since, probably 20 years now. Once my first mentor told me that, it's not wise to watch the news, and then he explained why that was important. What was his mentality? What was his thought process behind it? So all I want to do today is just offer what I do in all situations, and this situation in particular. So first of all, fear is a human emotion that we all have, and it's a natural response that is designed to keep us safe, to keep us alive. That's what fear is. So first of all, fear is our friend. We have to really reshape the way we look at fear. And then once we realize that fear is our friend, we have to embrace that fear. Now, how do we embrace that fear? When we are fearful, regardless of whatever that situation is, it is super important that we do the research required to get as many facts as we possibly can, information about the situation, the event, the person, the thought, whatever that is, whatever is creating that fear. You must start with information, facts from verifiable, reputable sources. So what I do in a case like this is I go to a few of the reputable sources, doctors that I've followed, that I'm aware of, institutions that have habitually given out good information. And I also observe, I look around my environment, and I take all of that information in. And I really quickly decide what I need to do to not only make myself as safe as possible and as healthy as possible, so that I can then do the same for others that are in my immediate environment, my work environment, my clients, my family. So first of all, I would say number one is, once you recognize that fear, get the facts, do your research, do your homework, then take the appropriate actions. Number two, I've always been somewhat of a clean person, but now I do make sure I take extra precautions based on what the CDC and organizations like that suggest are best for us right now. So I'm being very vigilant about those things and separating myself from large gatherings, etc. I did go out to eat this past weekend because honestly, I don't feel that certain limitations need to be taken at this point, but I do and I will abide by the large rules set in place for Americans where I live, and I understand what they're saying, and so I will proceed accordingly, and I will proceed on the side of caution. So I will limit the time that I'm out in public places and the things that I do. I will be more wary. So again, the second thing is to take the appropriate actions. I will fall in line. I will limit myself. I will spend more time alone. I will double clean things and be very careful about what I'm bringing in and who I'm around and what's happening. But again, I've always done that for quite some time now. So it's not a huge shift in behavior for me. And then number three, I want to say is you got to have the faith, whatever your faith is, whatever you believe in, that we will overcome this. Things may get rough, may be shaky. It's a very popular belief right now. And a lot of times people will ride that fear wave. So, and that's fine, because everyone has the right to feel and do and be who they are. But if you're listening to this podcast, I want you to understand that you have that right too. You have the right to think differently and to behave differently and to talk differently. So have faith that either one of two things or really three things are going to happen in any situation, regardless of if it's a pandemic, if it's happening in your household, if it's happening at work. One of three things are going to happen. It's going to get worse, it's going to stay the same, or it's going to get better. And that will happen because everything moves, time moves, things change. This life is a fluid life. I was writing down notes for another podcast episode, and I'll speak about this later, but life is fluid. Everything changes. So we have to be ready and willing to adapt when things change. So things are going to change. So regardless of what the situation is right now, it is still going to change with time. Some faster, sooner than others, but it's going to change. So understand that it is going to shift. This climate will shift. Now, I tend to believe that it will get better. When will it get better? I don't know that. I can't say that with any level of certainty. But I will tell you this, things get better the faster we start to believe that they will get better, the faster we start to take precautions, be smarter, become wiser, make better decisions, keep our energy high, strong, stay healthy, do the things required on a normal basis to be at a peak state, to be at a peak level of health, mentally and physically, to collectively stay strong, to care about one another, to help out one another, to really be compassionate and loving. And again, it all starts with yourself, being that way to yourself. Then that reverberates to everyone in your immediate environment and ultimately out into the world. So again, I'm not going to stay too long on this, but I did just want to speak on it because I see a lot of people that I pay attention to, I've trained with, or I learned from, my mentors have spoke on it. So I wanted to speak to you guys because, you're my family. You're my worldwide family. So I wanted to just hang out for a few minutes with you. But just know that I will continue to be here, delivering my messages, doing what I'm sent here to do, just as I know you guys will continue to do the same. So I want to encourage you to continue to be you, continue to work hard, continue to stay strong, stay powerful, be smart, listen. So just quick recap. If you're feeling this fear, it's okay. It's normal. Matter of fact, it's recommended because, again, fear is here is our warning sign that, hey, I want to keep you safe. So when you feel that fear, number one, get the facts, do your research. Number two, take the precautions, take the actions, do what is necessary and required. And three, keep the faith, understand your faith, whatever that is. Things are going to change. It's going to shift. It's going to go one of three ways. And either way, still we have to apply this basic template, this basic knowledge to whatever situation that we find ourselves in tomorrow. You still got to deal with it. We're still here. We're still strong. We're still smart. We have the means and we have the tools. And we'll get through this and we'll come out better on the other side. So just be encouraged. Stay strong. Stay in touch with your loved ones, your friends. Help each other out. And it's going to be beautiful. The outcome will be. This is just a bump in the road. We just have to stay strong, be mindful, be smart, take care of one another, and everything's going to be okay. All right. I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. Be good. Do what's required. And I will talk with you again very soon. Bye now.
You've been listening to Self-Love is the New Sexy with W. Mark Watts. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to tell a friend. Also, make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to our show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you listen to podcasts.